Thank you for tuning into the Real Rap Radio Show. I'm your host, Walil Archer. I have my special guest on the line with me, Nehad. Abdul. How do you pronounce your last name?
Abdulnabi.
Abdulnabi. How are you today?
I am doing great. How about you?
Good, good, good. So I brought you on today to talk about the story. So let's jump right into it. What would you like the listeners to know about it?
Well, my name is Nehad Abdulnabi, and I came to America in 1980. I went to school in Tennessee, University of Tennessee, graduated December of 86. Had an engineering job up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for 2 years, came back to Knoxville, established a business. Okay. And I when I came back to Knoxville, my brother was a technician up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He didn't really want to, go into business. And I said, okay, you really don't have to really do that. Let me start the business. And then if it does fly, I'll get you down. And then after 9 months, the business was doing really well. He came, to Knoxville, and I gave him for half of the business for basically close to nothing. And the thing that I really want to talk about is the problem that we are in, that my brother really got me into, because basically he wasn't really very honest guy, the whole time. And after maybe about 11 years, he married like an Egyptian woman. She's Palestinian, but she was born and raised in Egypt. And they basically tried to uh, rob me out of the business, which they did. And I had to leave Knoxville to really not break up the family, and they took the business for close to nothing. And then I moved down to Atlanta in May of 2000, just before the 9/11. And we had a big issue because he didn't really pay me what he owed me for getting the business and all that. So I said that's fine, but we were not going to have a family relationship, and you were not honest with me. And I just left Knoxville and came to Atlanta here in year 2000. uh, about 12 years later, I get a call from a brother of mine in Gaza, telling me that my brother Nehad had like a big problem with his best friend, and he was thinking that his best friend, his name is Nasser Farwana, was having an affair and was sleeping with his wife for many years. And what he did, he took him to his business, duct taped him in the back of the business, beat him up really bad, and he got arrested and then convicted with kidnapping and aggravated assault, and was sentenced for 17 years. Even though he stole my business and did some other things, which I'm going to elaborate on in later in this interview, I really couldn't really stand still because I'm the only family to him here. So I wanted to really help him either stay with his wife, maybe work it out with his wife because they had four kids at the time, or just help him try to resolve his problem any way that is legal, that is gonna really make his life easier for him, his wife, and the kids, which I wasn't really very successful. So I pulled out of that and came back to Georgia. And then he went to prison, and I get a call from Gaza from one of my nephews, which I helped really a lot financially to get married, and gave him a piece of our property to live in, which he was asking me for, to just stay in it for a while until he could really support himself and his family, and which I agreed to. He calls me, right after my brother goes to prison, about maybe approximately a month, and he says, my brother Nehad, the one that is in prison, had sold him a piece of property, which my brother, that's part of the inheritance that my brother Nehad had sold me prior to that, like 12 years prior. And he went to Gaza just before he went to prison, sold it again, sold that property that he sold me again illegally to my nephew, and got paid $90,000 in cash. When my nephew told me that, I really did not believe it. And I was hoping, like, when my brother calls me from prison, as you know, I cannot call prison. The prison has, somebody from the prison can call you, but you cannot call anybody. So I was waiting for my brother and hoping that he would tell me, no, I didn't do that. So when he calls, I said, Nehad, did you do that? And he said, yes. And I really got really upset. And I said, why would you do that? I've brought you to America. I've gave you a business. I've done everything good for you. And then when you wanted to really steal the business in Knoxville, I didn't really want to break up the family. And I gave you that business. And I got up and left my family in Knoxville for 15 months, just working here in Duluth, Georgia. And every Saturday, I leave work at 3 o'clock, go to Knoxville, okay, stay there overnight, come back on Sunday, okay, to stay another 6 days and then go 15 months. And I didn't really have enough money to really even have an apartment. The 15 months I stayed in the business. Why would you do that to me? He said, well, because you sided with this and this, and started giving me some excuses for doing illegal things and sin things. So when I found out and confirmed from him, I right away called my wife and say, I need you to reserve a ticket for me to go to Gaza to really get my, my property, my kids' property back. So I go to Gaza and get stuck there for 18 months. Gaza is ruled by Hamas, which is, in the eyes of the international community, is a terrorist organization. So it's a very unstable, country to go to. But, you cannot wait on something like that because, my nephew is staying in my property. He bought it illegally from my brother and paid him $90,000. And the longer he stays, the more difficult it is to get him out, as you know. He has possession of it. So I couldn't wait. So I went there, stayed 18 months. During the time, like about maybe middle of the period I was staying there, my brother was trying to get in touch with me, which I really didn't want to talk to him because he's a thief. He's a backstabber, okay? He ruined my life, okay? Got me up. I had to leave my business, which my business is so technical. And I am the business, basically. When I'm in the business, I'm the business. Electronics is electronics. I am the master of the electronics in the business. So I couldn't really stay here. I left it for 1.5 years. So he was calling my wife, begging and crying, okay, to have her connect me to him, to talk to him. Finally, because he was really begging and crying. Really, he was literally crying because he wanted us, okay, to do something for him. So she finally connected me to him. I say, okay, what is it that you want now? And he said, okay, I want you to sell a piece of my property in Gaza because I want you to really protect a property that I have, his property, the commercial property in Knoxville on Gleason Road in West Knoxville, close to downtown West, okay? Because if I don't really pay the loan off, it's gonna be auctioned off. As you know, if you owe taxes, if you owe some loans, some payments, you miss too many payments, whoever really holding that loan or the city or the state will sell their property by the auction and then pay off those, loans. And I said, okay, well, I need a legal power of attorney. And another condition, I need you to, I need a sworn confession that you really need to write for what you did to me, stealing my property, selling it illegally to my nephew, and getting the money and all that. And he agreed to that. Okay, and that's the only thing that my wife did, is just connect me to him on the phone, 3-way calling, and that's all what she did. She would basically connect me, call me in Gaza, put the phone on the, the kitchen table. When we finish, we hang up, and then she would find out and then hang up the phone. She didn't really get involved in any of my family disputes from the day we got married up until now. But which we did. He did the power of attorney legally, which I have it. I have the power of attorney and the sworn confession by him, okay, signed and notarized by the Palestinian Embassy, both of those, which I presented in court to Judge Greg McMillan, okay, which he thought that we are playing a game. I don't know what kind of game can we play with something like that when somebody like my brother steals my property and I leave America for 18 months. You have your job now in the TV station. Can you leave it a day without so many problems, coming back to so many problems?
No.
I left America and my business and my wife and my kids, five kids. Two of them were like 12 and 13 years old. I had to leave all that to go to Gaza to really solve a problem that my brother put me in. Then I come back, he sent me those legal documents from the Palestinian Embassy. It took about 2 months to really get him. He got somebody's working for the embassy, went to him to prison, got his signature, notarized it, sent it to the Palestinian Embassy. Then they send him to me to Gaza, and I execute what he wanted. And I told him also that when I sell that property, I'm going to pay off your property on lease and protect it like he told me. And I asked him several times, and God is my witness, that I wanted to pay some money to his wife to, for her and her kids. And he said, no. I insisted, I promise you, no less than maybe 10, 20 times trying to really send her some money, and he would refuse. And his excuse was that she has $100,000 worth of gold that she has, and she is spending and all that, and she is, the W, the B, the this, the that, and if you pay her any money, telling me, if you pay her any money, I'm not responsible for that. It's going to be out of your pocket. I will not be responsible for it. Anybody that has a power of attorney is obligated by the law to follow every instruction that the owner of that power of attorney tells him to do. Am I right or not?
Correct.
And I did exactly what he wanted me to do. Who found out about this situation? His wife and her attorney, Wanda Sobieski. She's been a lawyer maybe for about 50 years. She's really good, a very good lawyer. She has very good reputation in Knoxville by winning cases. The good reputation is winning the cases, but the reputation, how she wins it, okay, that's another issue. In my opinion, which I told her in many court sessions, that she really doesn't care how she wins the cases. She really doesn't, as long as she wins, okay? She knows the truth, and the truth is not what she's talking about in court, but she really likes to win the case, and she likes to frame, her opponent in such a way, and, that looks really so bad to the judge. And the judge bought all that. I just didn't know how. When I came back, after selling the property, I had, about this much legal documents to prove for how much I sold it, who I sold it to, who was witnesses, and all that. And Gaza is really small. Once something like that happens, all Gaza knows about it. So I present all that to the judge, okay, and sworn confession and all that. And you know what he said? Judge Greg McMillan said about the whole story, my brother stealing my property and selling it and me going to Gaza and all that, one word in the whole court, dismissed.
Wow.
It's like I am playing a game. I said, how can you even do that? you know, I bring legal documents. I went to prison 3 times trying to defend his property in Gaza, his and her property in Gaza. And I saved the property on Gleason Road and paid it off so the auction, it wouldn't be auctioned off. And then I am the thief. She told the judge, oh, well, he didn't sell it for that. He sold it for about $150 more a meter, a square meter, which ends up to be another maybe $200,000 that the judge believed her, which she has never been in Gaza and she never been in that property, and her family, a lot of her family members in Gaza, like brothers and uncles and all that, and I had my family involved in that, and they made me look like I'm the thief and stole a big portion of the sale and didn't have it in the legal contract when I brought all that stuff to the judge. He didn't want to even look at that. So go ahead.
Go for it.
So basically, like, I look at the judge, anything we say, anything we do, he doesn't want to listen to it. It's, you know, incredible. Okay, it's not credible. And we, in his eyes, we lost our credibility, even though we can really prove everything that he didn't believe. And I told him, I said, you know, if you really don't believe anything, you know, all what you have to really do is ask me to prove it. You know, legally, documents, whatever you want, but he didn't want to even get involved with that. And now everything is awarded to the ex-wife. She got the Gleason property, which I saved for her. If I didn't save it, it would have been gone. Then now they want me and my wife, listen to this, which is really kind of unconstitutional. He wants me and my wife, you know, by the way, my brother, when he was, you know, after I came back, he revoked my power of attorney, okay, that I have. So it's no longer valid. So I cannot really use it, right? The Judge Macmillan, ordered us, me and my wife, to go back to Gaza, okay, sell the rest of the property, okay, and get the money and add to it whatever, you know, they came up, which is about $1.32 million, okay, and then hand it over to Fatima. How can we do that? How can we go to a country that, you know, everybody in the whole planet, every country, label it as a terrorist organization, Hamas? That's one thing. It's a war zone. You want to send American citizens to a war zone to really execute something. I don't have a power of attorney because we cannot get another power of attorney now. Why? Because the Palestinian Embassy that was there when we got this power of attorney is no longer there. During the presidency of President Trump, he closed it. So we cannot really get it. Okay, if we need to get it, the person that needs to do the power of attorney needs to go to either Canada or Mexico, which, you know, is my brother. He's in prison. How can he get it done? So I don't know why even a judge would even give you an order like that, okay, and he knows it's completely unconstitutional. Another thing, you know, I wanted to sue Judge Macmillan because I am really innocent. I know 100% we didn't really break the law in any way. We've been living in America here since 1980. I came in 1980. I got 5 kids. Me, my wife, and kids, we don't break the law. We don't even, like, hardly ever we get traffic law, you know, tickets. We mind our business and that's it. We don't really get in anybody's else business. Okay, so I hired another lawyer, which, you know, happened to be a Jew, which I didn't really have any problem, who I hired as long as he's good and honest. Okay, I was really completely wrong. I picked a lawyer, or was suggested to me or referred to me by my previous lawyer, which lost everything. The first lawyer was, his name, Matt Burakas. Okay, he lost everything, even though we had really good case, but he didn't really present it well. So he suggested or referred Darren V. Baird. This name is really, he needs to, you know, this name needs to go out to a lot of people. Darren V. Baird. He's a Jew. I hired him, paid him no less than $150,000. Because we're innocent, and I don't like to really, okay, lose a case that I believe I am innocent. I never lost a case. I have a business, electronics master in Duluth, Georgia, in Georgia here. If anybody Google it, I've been in business 24 years. People come to us from all over the country. People sometimes send us, stuff from overseas because we have good reputation. So I hired this lawyer, Darren V. Berg, 4 cases: to sue Judge McMillan, to sue Sobieski because she mispresented all the facts, to sue my ex-sister-in-law, Fatma, to sue the lawyer that got us involved in this, which is Jack Bowers, and to sue my brother for doing that to me, selling my property in Gaza. I wanted to sue everybody. And he wanted flat rate for each case. I paid him all that. And I have all the proof. By the way, anything that I am saying here, I have 100% full documentation to support what I'm telling you. Then I hire him. He files all those petitions to sue the judge, to sue Sobieski, to sue Fatma, to sue Nehad, and all that. And that's all what he did. And he runs for the hills. So I am sitting here in Georgia fighting some people in Knoxville. I paid all that money for a lawyer to really represent me and protect me and my family. And, I'm really not worried now because I have, what I thought a good lawyer. He didn't do anything beyond that point. Oh. The courts were sending him papers. He didn't really answer or do anything. Sobieski were sending him all kind of accusations. He didn't reply to it. And, that, took about maybe, 6, 7, 8 months with problems that were thrown at us by the court and Sobieski. Because, if we get letters from the court, you have to answer. If you get a letter from the other, lawyer, you have to answer and explain your situation, or else what? You admit guilt. And basically, he took us, Darren V. Berg, took us to the middle of the ocean, me and my wife and my family and my business and my life and the American dream and all that, to the middle of the ocean, sunk us all the way to the bottom and left us there and ran for the hills. And here we are, all the judgment are against us. I paid him to really go to the United States Supreme Court, $25,000 plus about $35,000 of printing cost for printing, our case for 45 judges, okay, about $35,000, and he did nothing. Nothing, ran for the hills. And everything by default went against us, or some other cases got dropped, and I don't have any more money to really fight. And here we are now they put a lien on everything that we own in Georgia, okay? And they want to steal everything that we have now. And the judge even agreed, Judge Ash, which, he's really a good judge. He's a fair judge. But he's the last judge to be hired for this case because, there is an order against me and my wife, which we cannot execute because we don't have a power of attorney. We cannot go sell something that doesn't belong to us without the legal, documentations. And they want us to really pay out of our pocket. Why should we pay for our, from our pocket for something that the husband owes her? And they want me to pay like child support, alimony, and all that until I don't know what year, maybe 2030, me and my wife to be responsible for her and her kids. And the judge agreed to that. How could that happen in America? I really have no idea. I showed this job, this order to many, many lawyers, and guess what? They would look like, what the heck is this? Up until like 2-3 days ago, somebody saw that decision. He said, what do you have to do with this problem? You have not. I said, I have nothing. We are the victims. My brother is a thief. He stole my property. I went there to really get it back. He needed my help to save his property. I helped him, and he wanted to pay for what damage he did to me by selling my property and staying in Gaza for 1.5 years. And I have a sworn confession. All that needs to go to the trash, and we are liable for everything. And now the judge wants us to pay interest on the price of the land that he owns and sitting in Gaza. How can I pay interest on a piece of land that I cannot go sell and give her the money for that? Now, like, it's about maybe 10, 15, $20,000 in interest a month that I'm going to be liable for a land that her husband owns and he's in prison and I'm responsible for it. How can that be constitutional? Or, you look at it from a religion, okay, from morals, from the law, from the constitution, from the land of the free, the land of the freedom. It just doesn't look right from any angle in this whole planet. And the judge signed off on it. We need somebody, we need somebody's help. I've emailed the White House. I've tried to call the FBI 20 times. I've tried to contact the governor in Knoxville several times. We've turned every possible way to try to seek some help, because we're not the aggressors. We're not really the people that are conspiring with my brother. My brother stole my business in Knoxville and we had no relationship. And another thing that my brother did to me, 12 years after I left Knoxville, we didn't really have any kind of communication. I get a call from a collection agency, okay, they're saying, is this Nehad Abdulnabi? I say, yes, this is Nehad Abdulnabi. They say, you owe us $35,000 on a First Tennessee credit card. I said, man, I don't owe anybody any money in this planet. They say, yes, is that your name? I say, yeah. I told them I sold the business to my brother like in about 1999. They said, well, this is under your name. So I said, this must be a mistake. So I text my brother and I say, Nehad, this happened and you owe 35. He said, I don't owe any of this stuff. It's your problem. I'm not paying it. Go F yourself. And I have the text from him up until now. $35,000 accumulated on one credit card after I left Knoxville that was under my name, okay, and he stopped paying it. And the collection agency told me it was just used about a couple of months before they called me. And he stole another $35,000, sold my property in Gaza illegally, stole $90,000, okay, cost me a year and a half of my life to leave my family, my kids, my everything here in America, okay, and stay in Gaza. It cost me in Gaza $60,000 in cash to give to Adel to get the property back, in addition to me going to prison 3 times because of him. I had to hire so many lawyers to really defend, my case in there. And then I had to stay in a hotel the whole time, leave my life here for a year and a half. A day in my business is worth a lot of money. It cost me a lot of, customers. I lost a lot of customers when I was in Gaza, big customers. I have accounts with CarMax, Carvana, so many big dealers. Okay, I lost half of them when I came back. I had to rebuild the business again. You know how it is when you leave the business, especially if it is you that are the business.
We have about 2 or 3 minutes left. So what would you like to let the listeners know as we continue to wrap up?
I urge everybody to listen to this story from beginning to end. And I'm going to give my phone number also. If anybody would like to really help or give me their opinion, or maybe participate in letting as many people in America as we can know about this corruption, because I tell you what, we really have been have a hell of a life since 2015 because of something that we really wanted to do in good spirit. We wanted to help his family, and we helped her family, and we were taking her side 100 times more than my brother's side. And I wanted to really help her in everything. We sent her money so many times that she needed, but she never now admits to any of that. Why? Even like the payments for the Gleason property, we made payments for over a year, $2,000 each. The judge and Sobieski and all that, they don't mention that. You know why? Because it's money out of their pocket. They don't mention that. Nothing of that is mentioned. The help that we did for them to protect their assets, me going to jail 3 times in Gaza to protect their property in Gaza because somebody had possession of it, I had to get them out. I promise you 3 times. They picked me up one time from the biggest intersection in Gaza with the military police, have guns, machine guns on me, about 15, 20 soldiers, because I wanted to protect their property. And that's all documented. I can't prove anything that I said in this interview. I really appreciate everybody to listen to it, and please get the word out, because the corruption in the justice system in Knoxville, with this case, it's unbelievable, unconstitutional, and we need everybody's help.
And then your contact information?
My name is Nehad Abdulnabi, Abdulnabi, and my phone number, cell phone number, 678-234-7800. This is not helping me, my wife, my kids, my family, my life, and helping so many other families that really have suffered in this manner, or maybe a lot worse. Why is America like that? America shouldn't be like that. America is the land of the law. I feel like now, it really, in my case, is the land of the no law. I want to change this idea. I want to go back. I need one person that really can make a change in this case. And I want the honest, the honest truth. And I want a fair trial. And I want a fair decision. And I'll go with whatever is fair. Nothing has been fair in our case yet, from beginning up until now. And my wife is really suffering. Her mom is sick in Gaza. She cannot get up and go visit her. She's 77 years old. She cannot go get a ticket and go to visit her. I don't know what's going to happen to her mom. My wife is going to hate me for this, because I am the reason. I'm the one that got her in this, because I'm from the Abdulnabi family. She's not. And she had nothing to do with this situation. My wife is nothing, like the only thing, the three-way calling. But Sobieski is very smart. She wanted to put a lot of pressure on me. By what? By getting my wife involved. If you don't really pay, now we are at the point, if we don't pay what they really want, we're going to go to jail, me and my wife. Imagine. And they have everything that we have here under lien. America, please wake up. America, please. We need some justice.
Nehad, I pray that things get better for you. That's my time for today. But I definitely pray that things get better for you. And I'd like to thank you for doing the interview today.
I really appreciate you. And I really would like to get a copy of the recording, if you don't mind. Send it to Corey and I'll get it from him.
Yes, sir.
Thank
well, that's my time today on the Real Rap Radio Show. And I'd like to thank you guys for tuning into the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You have a good day.